Welcome everyone to a fun little live update here of our professional Linux goodness, vintage retro or otherwise still existing SPARC CPUs. Obviously, so Sun Ultra 5 from the other day, and yeah, I perfected things in that yesterday Xorg didn't build, and I YOLO'd that to build Xorg, and I actually installed it on my more main Ultra 5, and I was wondering, can you actually overclock those? So fasten your seatbelts here for this fun little ride, overclocking this, because turned out, yes, you can. So let's overclock it, and actually easier than I imagined. So given that it's actually not that difficult. Wonder why I've not done it earlier. So stop A for overclocking, obviously, which by the way could screen capture this again, but yeah, you probably get the idea, hopefully. Anyway, so this is of course the open firmware OK prompt, and to overclock, you see here this is the original 360 megahertz that at least this one has, and that probably should be readable enough for you. So it turns out you can modify the CPU frequency here straight from the OK open firmware prompt. For this we unlock some hidden features, some hidden Easter eggs and service manual stuff, with also, I think, also hidden. And then we can manipulate the CPU frequency. Also, yeah, all the PC people would probably wish that overclocking would be that amazing with your advanced light out management system. So also after also hidden, I think it was D, I can also double check that, but I think D hash, and then the CPU speed. So I tested this already a little bit before this video. We are running with 360 megahertz. I tried a couple, it turns out some people might be as lucky as running this with 480 megahertz or something. I'm not that lucky, at least for me it instantly hangs. So if you use here something that is too high for your CPU, certainly also, by the way, don't try this at home. Your mileage may vary, and don't sue me and blame me for your burned through and overheated fancy SPARC CPUs. So for me, it turns out even 400 hangs, at least usually anyway, but guess what, 399, so that is still a nice little 362, 399. Also, yeah, although we enter 399, it still shows as 400 for some bizarre reason, also 400 hangs, and then that is at speed. And then we also have here some command that is .speed, and it turns out, yeah, now we are running with this CPU speed allegedly anyway of 400 megahertz. Turns out this has, because it is sharing the same architecture with the Ultra 10, has some unified peripheral, whatever, once knew what that stands for, but whatever, graphic busing. It's probably, I wonder if it's even used or if this chipset is connected there, maybe, maybe not, and 2 PCI buses, 33 megahertz each. So as I said, this is rounding up, not really trying 400 now. The last time I tried this, it locked up. So this is only valid until your next power off, and if this hangs, then certainly power off and switch it on again. You can save this here with NV store setenv use nvrmrc !true, and yeah, if you want to permanently save this, which I for now will not do. However, let's continue booting our Linux, so this would be just boot. Here also, yeah, initializing memory is actually, fun fact, probably maybe means we tested this. Let's see, I hope this boots. Let's see, I just edited this. I'm not sure if I tested this already. Let's hope this boots my Linux 5.5.11 from last night, because took a little bit fiddling, because this is highly upgraded previous videos. So I have here an SSD, and serial ATA SSD with some Promise 100 or so PCI controller, 29 megs. That should be my latest init RD. As I said, I rebuilt also, yeah, probably I published a new ISO, SPARC ISO, because, yeah, This includes an X server, but similar to GCC and glibc, also yeah, yesterday's Xorg server, can also give you that camera. Yesterday's Xorg server did actually not compile with SPARC symbols. Turns out I could YOLO this relatively easy, because turned out I noticed in the log, actually I wanted to YOLO this, as in, because it had undefined symbols of SBus driver and SPARC driver stuff. And I thought, yeah, let's just patch it away. Let's not care about SBus stuff, of old-fashioned SPARC bus stuff, of SPARC stations and stuff. Just like, yeah, like YOLO it. Let's if def this stuff, if zero this stuff out. Turns out I looked into this. I figured it actually configured twice. It configured with GNU AutoConf and then with Meson, because that is amazing projects in 2020. And I thought, yeah, let's see actually what, maybe it's a half-assed Meson porting. And anyway, I always hate this inefficiency. So actually I thought, yeah, it's either I wanted them, once I saw this, I wanted to either disable configure or Meson. And I disabled Meson first, and turns out, yeah, if you also, yeah, projects in 2019, 2020, with Meson you get some, because it's who tests SPARC, certainly only the last unsuccessful one-man guy here live on this channel. And yeah, just disabling Meson in T2 of the package, configuring with just GNU AutoConf, as we did for the last 2 decades, or actually no, modular Xorg was only a decade old. Anyway, as we did for the last 10 years. Turns out, hey, this builds only, so for you, thank me later. Also, yeah, now can publish in SPARC ISO with Xorg. The only sad thing is it sig bus errors, also more of, yeah, not amazing. So maybe you want to fix a regression either. I guess it probably worked previously, so if you want to debug this, be my guest. So this should be now root. Also, one thing is strange, yes, a little bit of delay, not really sure where this delay is coming from. I'm pretty sure this previously was not there, not sure what that is about. Password should currently be test. And if we demask here, spoiler alert, I have run this UltraSPARC today a couple of hours for this testing of, yeah, testing, more testing, even more testing. I've run it overclocked to 400 megahertz, that's 399, rounding to 400, whatever that business is about. And yeah, GCC 9.2 here built yesterday or something, 23 of yesterday. Here cross-compiled T2 5511 also is it Bali, but anyway. Ethernet you don't need, because you don't need to track me with it, because it is dead NVRAM of 00 that stuff here. And so if we demask this of grep MIPS, we get some BOGO MIPS of 803 BOGO MIPS, so yeah, 400 megahertz. I slightly wonder if previously it once upon a time was in the CPU info, but actually we have this clock thing. It's probably, I have the feeling, do I have right now RC GPM start? You don't have X right now, but at least you have GPM. Do we have Fluor? No, we don't have Fluor. Or do we have, does this support? Oh, whatever. I guess maybe can we hex convert this. Anyway, you get the idea. I've run this, so yeah, don't try this at home. Don't blame me if your stuff burns up. Maybe, yeah, it's really a pity. I spent so much time and everything is working except X. No, would be really amazing. I thought I can show you today, like, hey, look at this, X is working, but here it isn't. I tried ATE driver and FBDEV and both on SPARC anyway. Both bus error, that is my life here, 2 decades with SPARC. SPARC usually is the most fragile because famous upstream people. In case you were wondering why I have this microkernel. So yeah, microkernel theme here. So bus error at address, whatever. So yeah, be my guest, debug this. Could be 32-bit user space. So for the total fun of it, I could actually, but I guess Debian did run 32-bit user space. Anyway, that's the idea. We still have some stuff to, for example, run here T2 updates. So let's dh-client that. I've not, except my ISO was slightly broken, somehow my GCC table was truncated. That doesn't really matter so much for you playing along at home. In case you want to compile, you can just otherwise didn't really notice any other issue here. So far so good. Welcome also everyone. Sunwar, remember having a copy of VirtualBox. What VirtualBox back when it was owned by, copy of VirtualBox back when it was owned by Sun? What? Yeah, but this is SPARC, not x86. So this is running on this super. Yesterday it was last night's build, on the last night's live stream it was running pretty decently okay on the Ultra 30, except we didn't have X there. Theoretically I could try the Sun FFB, but I have the feeling, I think both FBdev as well as ATI driver errored out with the same bus error, so it might be some generic whatever management garbage there. Also, yeah, vintage X windowing system. So if you're wondering how fast this is yeah, also frame buffer scrolling speed actually could be faster. So this is a subversion checkout of our T2 distribution here. Yeah, really wonder what's up with this delay here. This is really strange. Let's see, do we also have this on the... Maybe this is just some login thing, who knows what strange stuff is going on there. Apparently, once you logged in, so maybe this might be one super tiny glitch. However, otherwise, also if we checked out here, that is also amazing. Let's then delete this test thing and just test the compiler. Let's run config to give you some impression of the speed. T2 config here of this sort of thing. And yeah, 400 megahertz, 360 up, overclocked a little bit, certainly helps a little bit. And otherwise, the Linux kernel probably runs a tiny little bit better on this totally maxed out UltraSPARC, because previously the last kernel of last year, certainly want to share, like, and subscribe for all this amazing, hopefully anyway, vintage and retro updates here. The last year's installation worked okay-ish. The biggest annoyance for my aftermarket upgrade, because I have here a Firewire, I can also show you this LS PCI. I have here a lot of non-genuine Sun SPARC parts in here. I have here an aftermarket USB, regular P3, regular PC, good old-fashioned cheap USB controller in there, USB 2 even. I have here some Promise, as I said, Fast Track S150, TX2 Plus, serial ATA controller in there. This is a sort of, I wish, I'm not really sure if there are I would prefer AHCI, not this Promise garbage. I think I didn't find one. If you know if an AHCI like modern, but maybe they were only for PCIe, I would love to have some PCI interfaced AHCI advanced host control interface for more standard programming stuff, because this Promise stuff is a little bit more old-fashioned parallel IDE programming like. And so yeah, these are the onboard stuff, the onboard ATI Rage Pro, and the Happy Meal here, Sun Happy Meal Ethernet. And yeah, this is also aftermarket from me, this Adaptic AIC7861 ultra wide SCSI. I have this one in since soon 20 years, 2003. This was my highest, saved a long time, 20 years ago, my highest end SCSI controller that I had. Actually, I was running it also in x86 in probably my Athlon 600, and then when I phased that out, I moved that over to that already. So this was in the Ultra 5 for a long time already. This rate is a little bit near Promise, only in since last year for the NVMe upgrade. NVMe, not NVMe, for the SSD upgrade. So yeah, if you're wondering, running this as your daily driver, yeah, this is how long it takes, even with a massive upgrade. So this is now totally maxed out. The only thing you can max it out more is maybe getting a little bit faster. So there was an official, I think there was an official 400 or something, 400 something megahertz CPU. This is the second fastest, the 360, the second fastest CPU. So the only thing you could max it out more is with a tiny little official faster CPU, maybe overclock it also a little bit, and then more memory. That certainly would help. But yeah, just running this config stuff here, I hope actually it is still running. If you're wondering, all the stuff that runs instantly on our AMD Ryzen 1350X, but yeah, config 83%, 30 seconds already, so just this is basically probably has quite some I/O load, reading our thousands of files there in T2 package description, so reading 10,000 files potentially, and yeah, on certainly modern, but yeah, this machine is 20-year-old, what do you expect, right? But yeah, I wish X would be working, that would be pretty great, but otherwise, also, hey, we have managed, we have engaged. So yeah, this stuff looks legit. This is also, we can, but maybe we disable the cross-compiler, because this is why I, even a decade ago or 20 years ago, sometimes edited here the config, config default with VI. That would be cross, just disable this cross build, because now we're compiling natively. And if you were wondering why we usually cross compile with this T2 raw vanilla source build system here of mine, 20th anniversary release finally, with you guys sharing, liking and subscribing, spending all this extra effort of making this release amazing, testing, mock testing is the only thing that right now doesn't work as X, but whatever. Let's emerge, let's scripts find, what was it, IOStat was in, what was the package of IOStat? Also, yeah, this find is running grep and stuff over all the packages, is probably this stats. Let's emerge that to give you a feeling of what is instant on an AMD Ryzen, or what other fast there is a little bit lagging on a 400 megahertz overclocked UltraSPARC. So emerge. Also verbose, just for the fun of it, and then this stat for IOStat. And so yeah, so this is shell scripted, but yeah, also compiler, we certainly don't want to set this before. This GCC, this is exactly those two previous video and live streams, this two upstream releases that are broken on Spark right now. But yeah, all the stuff running natively, this is of course a test, the real stability test of installing T2, and then like really running all the user space stuff, like booting up fully. We have network and stuff and compiling and yeah, this stuff. Let's see. So yeah, even just this are like one single file C files, and even those compile a couple of seconds each. And certainly the bloat of GCC and glibc is contributing to the not that amazing speed here. Let's see. Comments and audience, have you tried using the same steps with what? Have you had any success using the same steps with a blade? I don't have that. If you have a blade, then try it, but you manage memory and don't ruin your precious sun gear. I only found this, I only got this tip recently, and so although I have this machine for a long time, not sure how long this overclocking stuff is known in the community, but I certainly wanted to entertain you sitting at home and staying healthy and stuff, and thought it's a nice little update here. We should get, so this is just maintenance stuff running, right? Maintenance shell scripting stuff, because we should have, yeah, we have here -v for verbose. So this actually is also, I have a mouse cursor over microphone cursor. Theoretically, we also have the Hewlett-Packard Precision architecture that I was here. We have this both running here. And just to give you an impression of the build speed, what is like scrolling extremely instantly on modern machines, like as seen on all my other build videos. And this is also, so people always ask me, why do I not get a super fancy, well, for 1,000, like 1K US dollar, right? Why do I not get a super fancy Sun machine, the latest and greatest? Yeah, 1K grand of stuff, and then of course it would still be a magnitude slower than this epic thread-ripping Ryzen thing here, previous build video. So yeah, this is why I cross-compile everything. I rather spend the time and effort to make T2 so cross-compile aware and configured and stuff that we can cross-compile everything, because yeah, magnitude faster, and yeah, anyway. So yeah, although this is of course a real test, here's a real stability test. Does it survive compiling a package? Darn, we will kill this machine. I forgot something. Can't make this stuff up, I forgot. We are running with parallel 32. I wonder if we, yeah, poor little machine, we don't even have as much memory in here actually. Oops. So yeah, I have someone on our Discord server who said, hey, I have a couple of memory sticks lying around. So yeah, maybe we also upgrade the memory because I only have 300 something megabyte in there. That was the most I ever had there. So oops. Although we actually looks like we survived this. I mean, this is of course a really worst case scenario, the most load you want to put here on that. Hey, we survived so far. I'm probably free. Yeah, so we probably swapped here everything on the serial ATA. Swap in use 91 megabyte. Although we, yeah, least recently used caching here of rather swapping out some not used stuff and having here some file system cache. Welcome Detard, happy to see you, hope you're fine and hope everyone else also. So yeah, now that we have such a high I/O load for the swapping on the 33 megahertz PCI bus promise, yeah, SSD, Samsung SSD in there. On the serial ATA bus, yeah, but certainly PCIe 33 megahertz, not the most amazing, but anyway, not yet crashing. Although, of course, everything becomes a little sluggish, although you don't see that the most, because, but basically I press something and it takes a second, so yeah, pressed backspace, hello, backspace, swapping to death this little, poor little, yeah, now it just catched up here with key presses, so yeah, you don't want to run parallel 32 on one CPU machine of 300 something. Yeah, let's see if that survives that. So Detard writes, overclocked his V880 once, it worked sort of. Overclocked how much? Did it work with the same also hidden and writing that to this at speed? So yeah, we are archiving here, slightly wondering, can we? So yeah, pressed backspace twice and no, yeah, 2 seconds later, if you were wondering how it is. User source T2, but I can't find it, we're catching up maybe a little bit. Also here, CD change directory of swapping, reading all this stuff in from our SSD, whopping SSD swap over here, PCI bus, what should I say? But also a recurring theme out, this is also a testament to all those people who spend way too much money on eBay for this used stuff, because I wonder how many people regret this. Most people, although I could afford it, but I refuse to spend overpriced money for all the stuff. Sometimes I, certainly you see this here on this channel, sometimes accumulating new fine vintage gear, but sometimes I overpay when I, like 10 auctions in a row I lose because I refuse to overpay, and then eventually it's like, let's get some nice thing, and then some of the stuff is also a little bit expensive, but usually I try to refuse that. Let's see here. If I type VI, do you see this? Can also VI config. I press tab, nothing happens because swapping not NVMe. I always say NVMe. Serial ATA SSD access config, and let's change this. Also, yeah, this you can already pre-type that on. Yeah. Anyway. Long story short, you can overclock this, your mileage may vary. Don't overspend on eBay for this gear because you might be mighty disappointed. UltraSPARC 3, 1.2 GHz stock, 8 CPUs and got something like 1.4. Very, very hot. So did it work the same as in also hidden and writing this decimal there at speed? Would be interesting to know if that was the same, but yeah, still loading VI, so yeah, certainly swapping back in that, and yeah, already thanks to those fans there on Discord who proposed to send over some memory. Really looking forward to that already. With yeah, how much do we have actually? Why is it 200 something? Did we not actually need to check that? But yeah, not making this up. VI is still coming in on the serial ATA line. Yeah, DDAT, how you're going? You wrote in the other video you had this analog virus going around there. Are you already fully recovered and negative again, or still waiting for that? By the way, what are we? Probably we can't really log in here, can we? Off. Yeah. Also, this is a little bit of a regression. I have the feeling, because this login stuff was very much slower in general, also on the SJ Octane. I think there's something going on with serial stuff, like emulated serial line stuff, and yeah, so much to you update stuff, and then your login stuff is slower. But obviously, right now it's reading and everything from swap. Probably all this stuff is swapping to death here. So yeah, welcome everyone. DTART is cured, fine, was not that bad but different experience from flu or something, that's for sure. Happy to hear that you're fully cured. So yeah, finally our VI is back from swap. Let's change here that. Hello, can we also have hello. By the way, this is of course auto tuning here. This analog VGI system. I slightly wonder why this ATI driver must. Oh, wait a second, I didn't want to use that. I wanted to use, where's parallel? This was always a thing. This is some really strange thing of the Linux frame buffer for ATI, Mach, whatever. So archiving again, let's run top again. And okay, fine. So yeah, still mighty many load average, not making this stuff up, load average 15, probably barely recognizable there. And all those, what kind of IO weight do we have? We have here user. Actually, it's mostly actually with one thread of execution, scheduler fighting there, not even the most. I wish we would IO load. This is of course why I install IO load there, but yeah, it's eventually coming to an end here. But yeah, certainly pretty nice to see all the stuff coming along. Let's see why. Do you have here, Scott is there, that's good to know. I have dual US 90s. UltraSPARC 3, 900, do you know if those work? Dropping recent browser had something conflicting twice. Modules, 2 CPU per module, backplane, fireplane, turbo level, compact something. Then you write how to fix problem with missing FBCon on Intel graphics. What? I don't even know what you mean with missing FBCon on Intel something. What's native frequency of the CPU? So this native is 360, and so the native original 360 of this one. And so if I also, yeah, we are finishing this, so probably the build performance was slightly worse due to the parallel 32, but yeah, maybe not that much worse, but you know, whatever. But that is of course the native compilation speed, just that you have a clear indication, certainly nothing to the epic thread dropping AMD Ryzen stuff there. Now we have IO start, now we can see what we got here and can run this here. This is exactly why I've run this here, but yeah. Also, fun fact, I probably forgot to mention. I wanted to say earlier, 10 minutes ago. Also, by the way, today I tunnel this. So, of course, this DOCSIS recurring theme, this DOCSIS cable stuff is total garbage here. Now, at least actually downstream is relatively okay-ish. Just upstream is total garbage here. This business, recurring business garbage line. Today, I, however, tunneled it because for YouTube, I barely can sustain 2 Mbit right now, and even at 2 Mbit, I get here, not making this stuff up, and the speed test often shows a little bit more like 4, 5, 6, 8. So today I tunnel it through our data center, like a poor man's tunnel with SS, secure shell forwarding. It looks like it is a little bit better, tiny little bit. So yeah, well, actually quite a bit better. So we are streaming with nearly 3 Mbit, and we only have 700 drop frames or 1.3%. So this DOCSIS is garbage, plus, well, this half duplex garbage stuff, plus, of course, the Vodafone Cable Germany stuff. YouTube disappearing, totally saturated with everyone sitting at home and live streaming such amazing videos here. What I wanted to say, one last note, when I installed this, because again I have this promise, PCIe, like parallel PCIe, not PCIe, PCI, parallel, good old-fashioned first-gen PCI, promise, fast track something, ls PCI, and yeah, fast track S150, TX2 Plus, and last year I had quite some resets. So with high load, like checking out, like here, like SVN ST or SVN up, can also here with IOstat 2. Now we have, of course, you have some 56 or even 100. Yeah, can't do this with your rotating magnetic storage there. 130 transactions per second, so not that bad. 2 megabyte, I guess, 2 megabyte read write of this relatively massive Subversion load. Of course, Subversion famous for that kind of load. And in last year, with the last old kernel 5 point whatever I had, actually we can see that because I left all the old kernels on here, so probably 5.3. So the last time you see how much testing and updating I do and using this nice fun vintage gear here. The last kernel, the last time I did this, I had quite some PCI bus resets, and this looks like it is gone right now. So I don't have this with this kernel here right now, so not a single serial ATA command transaction timed out. So that is much more better. I have basically right now amazing 20th anniversary release here of amazing T2 Linux stuff. So far so good. The only thing right now is, yeah, it's a pity, so much stuff you do, and then anyway, I showed this bus error. I did a couple of more things. I changed the installer environment, can't show you that except maybe theoretically here on that. Probably theoretically we could do that. Here as last but not least, here in QEMU. And what I've done also is fine-tuned a little bit of 5.5 console TTYS0, so perfecting all the stuff, and this perfecting affects all architecture. So even if you insert it in your SJ Octane or other regular x86 machine, the installer has now, among other things, not only less warnings. Also, fun fact, I couldn't install the last ISO on this with, we can actually check how much memory, I think 300 something or 256. In any case, I couldn't install it because out of memory. So I optimized this also. If we boot this ISO on a machine with less than 512 megabyte, on booting this init.rd, I'm deleting the lib firmware because all of this booted stuff lives in an tempfs, and so we run out of memory there, similar to the PS3. So all the amazing work, all the polishing, making PS3 better, making other SG Octane, Ultra 5 and SPARC Station stuff better. So if we don't have enough memory, like we are low on memory, then after booting the firmware we might need for some SCSI, Adaptic, QLogic, and even on the Octane. So if we boot on a low memory environment, I now wipe after booting, after this stuff has come up, then we wipe rm-rf lib firmware to free, actually, yeah, super large, right? 90 megabyte or something, or even, I think it was 90 megabyte. Crazy. Probably soon I need to have this compressed to ease this memory pressure. Also hilarious, right? Nowadays, all this firmware in an init.rd, the whole setup, in my opinion, I would do it entirely different, the boot up. It's, in my opinion, really stupid to copy all of this in an init.rd just to have it in the boot up, just in case, my opinion, in my microkernel to come in the next decade. Certainly should do this more amazingly. Last but not least, what really annoyed the heck out of me, it's rather tiny for you here though, this prompt here is new also today, as in committed today. So also the install, not only does it look better, but it annoyed the heck out of me that when I navigate in here for working on like even improving the installer, system recovery, other exotic maintenance, whatever stuff. So now it finally has a freaking prompt, like a decade later we finally have a freaking, yeah, it's a low-hanging fruit, it's just one one profile here of exporting here some PS1, but freaking prompt for, because then when you move here into MNT target, you always see where you freaking are. So that's certainly pretty amazing. And yes, this is a 1% polishing that I always 99% done, and then one last percent of making it really amazing. Yeah, basically if I make it any more amazing, I soon can't afford it anymore. So great help for me. I hope you enjoy too. And also another last year, because I usually we also killed apparently QEMU, so much to why even, I don't even really quite know why, terminated with signal or whatever. We also have a bash history pre-filled, so you have there mount, bind mount /def this and proc to MNT target and such fun stuff that makes the whole experience so much more amazing. But yeah, that's basically it. We have a couple of comments there. I hope you enjoyed this overclocking. One strange thing, I think the previous, how was it? I think I think as far as I remember, the previous kernel did somehow not power off, and this kernel still doesn't power off. So this, I'm pretty sure back in the day this worked forever. Maybe this is just some kernel option, but yeah, I just fixed it. Can't make this stuff up. I just fixed the SJ Octane to power down, and now the Ultra 5 is broken, doesn't power off anymore. It's, yeah, but that's my life. 20 years of regressions. If you fixed everything else, then power off is broken, or the Xorg server is broken, or it doesn't build because Meson or GCC or glibc is broken, usually on SPARC anyway. Yeah, but the Debian people tell me I make this shit up. This is why we live stream all this. Know that people can't say it's not there anymore. By the way, we at least have stop A here for all those. By the way, amazing, right? Imagine your x86 has this. By the way, my dream system, maybe we should do this on our own risk. Silicon. I find this pretty amazing. This would be pretty cool if we have in general with our microkernel some kind of stop A setup that you could always like stop into your microkernel. That would be pretty amazing. At least, so by the way, wonder if there was some power off like that. There is, by the way. Now that we have it powered off, we can also power it on again, that you see, but if you rewind, I think on the beginning you saw the original CPU frequency. I take a look at the comments in a second, just to prove that. And then also, so 360, let's stop A that. And maybe zoom in there a little bit. This is why I also don't screen capture it. It's a little bit more lively here. So 360 is the original one. You can save the overclock permanently with NV edit, and let me look this up. I also actually posted this here on my blog. Also long time no blog post. And so if you want to save this permanently, then that would be NV store and setEnv use -nv rem rc !true. And so yeah, again, the original speed, let's try that. Original speed is that. Of course, the PC ever 33 megahertz, and this UPA, still wondering if it's even used. And then also hidden, what you have seen in the beginning of the video already, also hidden. And then let's try 400. So last time I think I tried 400, it locked up, and yeah, it does. So really curious. 399 works, and 399 outputs as 400 as you've seen, but 400, everything starting with 400 locks up on my specific silicon here anyway. And certainly as crashed as it is, then certainly your stop A also doesn't work anymore. That's it for today. There is a power switch somewhere, like power switch is there. Hope you learned something and enjoyed that. Let's take a final look at the comments. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. Stay healthy. Follow your local recommendations, or actually follow your official, not your fake president's fake news recommendations. Trying to find time running again. What else do we have here? Blade 1000. Looked a while something. CPUs on something module, local memory CPU modules, You can fit 4 of those and have 2 CPUs. You should take T2 for a spin on the... yeah, the testing highly appreciated. The last ISO I pushed there probably had a broken GCC due to some last minute, maybe due to the stupid crashing of this binary only driver for this stupid, not recommended binary only capture driver, binary only dongle AP-Fan capture thing. Crashed a couple of times yesterday, also how many? Yeah, so at least the tunneling through the data center helps a little bit of making this with less than 1%. Although, yeah, streaming with just 3 Mbit or 2.7. I think actually I think I've configured this video hardware encoder thing to 2.75 plus audio and some average of nearly 3 Mbit. Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah, testing recommended. Best also if you want to help. I probably make soon to-do list here on here. On the website somewhere, and because yeah, as you see, I can't fix all the regressions. I will not look into GCC, glibc. I rather make my own JIT for Spark and MIPS and stuff. And if you want to find out why the XORG server is sick bus erroring, then be my guest. Otherwise, I rather continue not only microkernel but also windowing system, because we also need a more modern and truly universal with our microkernel windowing system. I rather test this on the ATI, also ATI on DOS with low level, and then test it here, similar to our Link3D previous video and Voodoo and Virgin, because I'm sick and tired of this regression and old-fashioned C code that only crashes. And yeah, certainly by the year 20 years not making this stuff up. But I really love how amazing our 20th anniversary release is coming along. Installer polished, low memory polished, all the stuff tested. And stuff fixed. Fun fact, I also fixed XORG building or Mesa, building Mesa without LLVM for HPPA, because fun fact with all the dependencies. So next video testing Hewlett-Packard Precision Architecture. Mesa didn't build because it didn't have LLVM, and LLVM didn't build because it didn't know about the unknown architecture Hewlett-Packard PA risk. Fun fact, LLVM builds for Spark but not for HPPA risk. So I also YOLO'd and quirked and hotfixed, configured Mesa to build with legacy windowing system without Gallium. And, but surprisingly it compiled, slightly wondering if it would work on the HPPA risk. So yeah, all the documentation, this is why I call this the most amazing documentation of repository, because in my opinion this is just so nicely documented here. This would be today of Mesa, so similar to Linux from scratch, just like fully automated. And when you take a look here in this Mesa conf of today, then you will find that as of today there is a little bit more. Also, yeah, we are freaking cross-compiling this, right? Is it not amazing cross-compiling this here on the epic thread ripping AMD Ryzen in just a minute, what would take hours or days on real hardware. So here's now for Hewlett-Packard overwriting Gallium drivers none. And I slightly wonder if this is still needed though. Actually, I probably should check though. And also here is probably, all right. So also if not LLVM, then we actually need, so this is also new since today. And in my opinion, so much more usable. It's like automated Linux from scratch, just like certainly with so many architectures, so many packages. And yeah, that is an LLVM false and OS Mesa classic, if you were wondering. And then it even freaking cross compiles here live on this channel. So yeah, soon HPPA risk. Pretty fun stuff. All the other stuff. The sad thing is now but I probably leave this for you, because I just rebuilt the GCC, because this somehow, probably due to the crash, this was truncated. Probably we should test if all the other, but I think I installed all the others. The only other package I got an error was probably this GCC, so it would be build Spark toolchain packages. And maybe we should actually for all tars do, also for fin, do set standard decompress this F and tar test. That probably should work, should it? Or probably T probably outputs all the file names. Done, I guess it does. So then let's maybe pipe this to dev null. Let's see if we get some error, but I guess we don't. So we don't. Yeah, also freaking thread ripping AMD Ryzen stuff can't make this stuff up. Compressing here in, let's time this, decompressing this here in freaking what? Probably this overclocked 400 megahertz UltraSPARC UltraSPARC 2i at 400 megahertz probably decompresses this in, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. But yeah, this probably this is stupid crash yesterday. That means we probably want to rerun this. Let's see. This is the only drawback. I really don't have the time, but we should get a printout here if some other tarball is missing. So, by the way, slightly wonder, are we even in focus? Not that it would matter the most, but I have the feeling the camera is not entirely in focus because, yeah, this of course is size optimized here, all the size optimization for the P3 stuff. And then let's build an ISO, so that's a new Xorg ISO with GCC fully, also X-SIG bus errors. If you find out why, as usual, patches welcome, leave in the comments below. Send me an email. Yeah, 700 year and no new drop frames, so much to secure shell tunneling for the verse. And you can edit the startup scripts in NVRAM video quality. Yeah, thanks for that. Positive even downscaled quality setting works. Looks like YouTube fixed some stuff. What do you mean positive even downscaled? No, YouTube didn't fix this. This DOCSIS line is just so overloaded, and probably apparently additionally to this DOCSIS line being so overloaded in general business cable DOCSIS of recurring theme here, what fixed it, I YOLO'd it as in VPN tunneling it through our data center there somewhere in Germany. So I work around it. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this overclocking and look behind the scene what it takes to cross-compile all the architectures, keep this stuff tested, and do some open source code and hardware each and every day. I hope you enjoyed this. Next up, Hewlett-Packard Precision Architecture. Probably, maybe better together tomorrow, not really sure. Probably better tomorrow because eventually I should go home, and that is, as usual, probably enough for one day. But yeah, pretty thrilled how, in my opinion, pretty impressive, and how much polishing, how much polishing you can do. What I actually should probably do for all the P3 fans, I should finally do here the kboot stuff. Let's see, what do we have left in the to do. So P3 kboot grub, first install it, probably we should really do. It's also not PowerPC, like maybe some like all cross compiled or something. Dialog titles, cross dialog title spaces. Why do I have this here twice? That is, yeah. Eventually also another day grub 2 testing on SPARC, now that we have overclocked it a little bit. And yeah, see you all. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Other stuff to come, certainly also low-level stuff, and also the G4 we should eventually, a recurring theme here, check if someone has fixed this AGP ATI stuff, but probably not. Yeah, also this file shouldn't be in there, so user source not in ISO, whatever, it's up with that. And yeah, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. I hope you appreciate all the efforts we spent, not only keeping all this exotic non-x86 architectures alive, but also doing latest and greatest FPGA RISC-V stuff, and in general polishing the ISO for all these exotic combinations, including the P3. That's it for today. Stay awesome and healthy, and I hope to see you soon for all the next videos and live streams to come.